What's up, y'all? Welcome to the On the Come Up podcast, where creative entrepreneurs share their come up journeys that turn their passions into success. I'm your host, Kimberly, so let's get started. What is up, guys? We are back with a different season 4. Today we are here with Sofia. Sofia is a fashion model, correct?
Correct.
Would you consider yourself like high fashion or commercial?
I don't know if I could consider myself one just because I do a little bit of everything, but I think fashion would just kind of encompass it, yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask, or I wanted everyone to know, how tall are you?
Okay, this is the dilemma of the century. Okay, so for those of you that are going to say this is not true, oh well. But I am technically 5'11" on flat feet. Mm-hmm. But I just say that I'm 6 foot because as soon as I wear shoes, I'm 6 foot. So technically 5'11", but we can say 6 foot.
But you're still tall.
Very.
Like, very tall.
Yes.
But how did you start getting into modeling?
I started getting into modeling because it was the typical, I was just very tall and slender, I guess. I was probably 13 years old when my mom told me if I wanted to try it. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want to have anything to do with this. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I will stop bothering you if you try it one day. And I was like, okay, pick me up from school. We will go see what this is about. So she picks me up from school. I'm taking off my school uniform, putting on a little casting outfit. I'm going to Wallflower Agency. So I went to Wallflower. I talked to them. They took pictures of me. I had no idea they were going to do that. So I was like, what's going on? They spoke to me for a little bit. They offered me a contract. And I was just too fast, too soon. No. So from then on, I went to Page Parks. So Page Parks is still my mother agency. They're based out of Houston, but they used to have a Dallas location. So I met up with them in Dallas. I met one of their agents. She just had me walk for her. She took some pictures of me, and she said, I have an opportunity for you in Houston. It's going to be 3 days long. If your parents consent to you doing it, we'd love to have you. And they said yes. So I spent a long weekend in Houston, basically playing kind of America's Next Top Model. Mm-hmm. It was first day makeover, second day photo shoot, third day runway show. And it was all of us kind of amateur new models not knowing what we're doing. By the end of the program, they were just kind of testing our skills a little bit, I'd say, and they offered 9 of us, I think, contracts. There was probably 15 to 19 of us total, and some of us got contracts. So from there, I signed, and I guess the rest is history. I've been modeling almost 8 years now.
So that was when you were 13?
Yes, between 13, 14 years old. Yeah.
So for people who don't know what a mother agency is, can you explain what that is?
So in short form, a mother agency acts like your mother. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that take you in, they sign you, they guide you into, for example, if you start modeling in Texas and your goal is to land in Miami or your goal is to land in LA or New York, your mother agency is going to be the one that helps you get there in a slight sense. And if you did sign with somebody else and you're still signed with your mother agency, they're the ones that you're going back to be like, hey, I need help with this. Mm-hmm. What do you think about my portfolio right now? Things like that. So kind of when you go back home to your parents and you're like, can you help me with this? Because I have no idea what's going on. Kind of like that.
That's the easiest way to.
Yeah, kind of a big sister or, like I said, a mom and dad role. Yeah.
What made you turn down Wallflower though? Because I gave you the opportunity on hand.
I think what it was is just an initial feeling. I didn't think that there was anything wrong with them. I think it was the curiosity of what else is out there. And when I did the whole thing with Page Parks, that was just kind of opened my eyes a little bit. And I was like, oh, they seem like they're going to have me in good hands. Yeah. I think I just knew a little bit more about them.
How do you mentally prepare for a shoot or runway? Are they the same thing, or is it like the way you prepare, or is it different for one runway?
I would say it depends for what, but it is different a little bit. If it's doing a commercial shoot here at home, I think I go into it a little bit more relaxed because I've done it a little bit more often, or I kind of know what to expect of it. But if you're telling me how do you prepare like for New York Fashion Week or something, it might be a little bit different. It might be like taking more, I guess, paying more attention of like things that I'm consuming. Could be also taking care of my skin a little bit extra for a week, things like that. But I would say mentally preparing, I try to not overload myself with social things. I tend to get very in my head if there's too much going on. So I think that's when I like to slow down on things. Like I'm not going to go out as much. I'm not going to go out to eat as much. I probably won't hang out with people as much a little bit just so that I can get in like a more zen mode, because I like to go into these things a little bit more calm if possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you face any like pushback from any like friends when you first started modeling?
Oh, absolutely. I did, mainly because I started so young. Most of my friends didn't understand, why would you be doing this to yourself? Why would you want to be 14, 15 years old and like caring about what your diet is? And it's like very difficult to explain to another person that's 14, 15 years old that it's like, it's not about the size that you're wanting to get. It's about taking care of what you're putting in your body, as in, should I eat McDonald's before a photo shoot, or should I eat something that's going to give me a little bit more energy, make me feel a little bit better, I guess you could say. Sleepovers were really tough when it was like I had a shoot in the morning and everyone was like, let's have pizza at 11 o'clock at night. And it's like, well, I know my face is going to break out, or it's going to be very swollen or something like that. That was a little bit difficult. And then I used to miss school a lot. I missed school a lot in middle school and high school because of the same thing. It was like I'd leave early for shoots and things like that, or shows, or I had to go out of town, and people were kind of like, well, you're just skipping school. I'm like, you just don't understand, but that's okay. Yeah.
Did the skipping of the school, did that like affect your education, or were you able to, catch up eventually?
For me, it was more like my parents would not allow me to do certain things if I wasn't keeping up with school. So I would really have to communicate with my teachers, like, I'm gonna not be here next week. What's the assignment, so that I can start doing them. Kind of little things like that, but. Yeah.
So eventually it did work out.
It did work out. It was a hard balance, but it worked out. Yeah.
Okay. So was the modeling, you did that straight after high school?
I started in middle school. So I started booking shoots by 7th grade. I was like shooting, walking runways, starting in 7th grade. So that was like 7th, 8th grade. And then when I started high school, I wanted to play volleyball. So that was a little hectic in the schedule. And I remember by junior year, they were like, you're not going to be on the team because you're not here enough. So I was like, okay, I'll be the manager or something, because I wanted to be a part of it. So I did that. But yeah, it was just really hard to be there, I guess you could say.
Oh, okay. So right after that, you just became like a full-time model?
As much as I could, yeah.
Okay, so what is something like about modeling that people don't see or misunderstand?
I would say the mental challenge of it all. Even apart from things that are like sizes, I would say the mental battle of going into a casting and seeing like 10 other girls that basically look like you, or getting turned down by an agent or an agency or a client that maybe you're like, this is my dream client, and they're like, this is just not for you, maybe. Or yeah, I guess things like that. And also knowing that so many other people are in your same shoes wanting the same thing. So it's kind of like, how hard are you willing to work to get to where everybody else wants to be. And it might be a little bit more or a little bit less important for some people, but I would say for me, that was like my top priority when I was even in school, like middle school, high school. And I never cared about what anybody said or thought about me because I knew that I wanted it so bad. But I know that for some people, other people's opinions can influence or hurt you a little bit more. So I think the hardest thing is to just like kind of keep your blinders on and your earplugs in and just listen to yourself, your heart and your head. Yeah.
How do you like balance authenticity with the pressure to maintain like an image online?
Gotta think about that one. What do you mean?
Like, how do you maintain showing your true self, right, while being like Sofia, the fashion model?
I would say I'm still learning how to balance this. I think that one's pretty tough. I mean, even being here today is like kind of a very out there thing for me because, like I said, I'm not used to talking in front of the camera. So a lot of times I do get this imposter syndrome of it's like no one really knows who I am as a real person. They just know what they're seeing or pictures that they're seeing of me. So I think I'm trying to get a little bit better at being able to show who I am through a screen. But in reality, I just know that I know who I am. And even if some people may not understand what that really is, that's okay.
Do you ever like hold back like when it comes to like wanting to post on your social media because
For sure.
People want me like why is she eating that? Like if you want to post a plate of pizza and they're like why is she eating pizza? Like do you ever feel like people are always like having a reason to say something?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like people always have something to say about somebody else, which kind of sucks in general, not even just for models, but anybody that's like on social media. But there is that little bit of disconnect, of the judgment and the assumption. But I don't know.
So it's not really something that you think about so often.
I think about it. I think I just have been in it for so long to where I internalize it a lot different than I used to.
What's your favorite type of shoot or concept to shoot?
Favorite type of shoot? I think creative shoots.
Creative?
Of course I enjoy getting paid for work, but I think that my favorite shoots are those shoots that are like non-paid, creatives get together, let's make some magic happen, or like a photographer comes and says, I have this vision, I have this idea, I think that you could bring it to life. Being the person that's able to visually bring it to life is crazy. I think that'd be one of my favorite things.
Would you say like the editorial shoots are more?
Yeah, I like editorial shoots a lot. I think, I would say editorial shoots, and then I do really enjoy my commercial shoots. Like my typical clients, like say JCPenney or Macy's. I love shooting with them because it's like I know that it's going to be a good energy when I go in there. I know the protocol for it. And it's usually just going to be a good time because everyone's like, we know why we're here. Let's make this goal happen. And when it does, it's pretty rewarding. Yeah.
What has been your most like memorable shoot?
Most memorable shoot would probably be my Reebok shoot. Because that was one of my first, I guess, because I got flown out for that one. So that was one of my first experiences being accommodated for travel. Like, so I will have them, like, they accommodate for my gas money or maybe a flight. But that one was memorable because it was like, they call me on a Wednesday, tell me to pack. On Friday, I'm flying out to Boston. I make it to Boston, and I find out that I'm the main role in the shoot. Again, didn't know that. They left out a lot of details, but I get there, they tell me I'm the lead role of the shoot. I was going to be there for like 3 days. I remember it being 30 degrees and having to shoot outside in like a sports bra, and then having to look like I'm sweating. So they're like spraying me with water, like hoping that I'm not going to get sick. And they're like, I'm so sorry. But it was just a really cool experience, like being up till 3 o'clock in the morning, shooting at a real CrossFit gym, the owner being there, being like, oh, well, good morning. Like it's 3 a.m. We shut down the gym for this shoot. And then I also didn't know that it was going to be like a worldwide campaign. So I thought I would just be seeing this like in New York when I'd go to Reebok. But I remember I went to Argentina on a trip with my mom, and we're walking on the street, and this guy is like, is that you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, is that you? And there's just this giant video of me like running in the streets of Boston, like doing my Reebok campaign. I'm like, whoa, now, okay, let's go inside. So I'm inside, and I'm just like, okay, I'm surrounded by a plethora of pictures of myself in the middle of Argentina. And I was like, this was everywhere, wasn't it? This was literally everywhere. And then, yeah, I remember sending it to my family, and they're like, oh yeah, like you were on Forbes, like an article on Forbes, you were on Women's Health in Spain, like all of these things. And I was like, I had literally no idea, which is another big thing that happens with models. Like we don't even know where our pictures end up sometimes. But yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That's so awesome. Like you give me chills just telling that story. Like, can you I can't even imagine like you had no idea, first of all, and then walking into a place.
It was a weird feeling, but it was like, whoa.
So
yeah.
Was it the guy that noticed you? Was he like just a complete stranger?
Stranger. Yeah.
Oh, that is so
cool. I think he was just standing there in the store, and I was walking in the street, and he was like, wait, I just saw your face just then. I was like, oh, you did.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to aspiring models?
Okay. My biggest piece of advice would be remember who you are, because that is what's going to get you the furthest. Remember who you are. Keep a really good head above your shoulders. Don't let other people's opinions about you change the way that you feel about yourself. If you know that you're good at something, own it. If you know that you struggle somewhere, own the fact that you're learning. Don't be afraid of rejection. I think rejection is like a little tiny gift, because you always learn something from getting a no, or turn the other way. You will find another way to, I don't know, make it somehow. But I would just say, yes, stay strong up here and here, because that's pretty much the only thing that's going to push you forward. Once you start doubting yourself or starting to think about like what everybody else thinks, and your own voice is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, that's when you feel lost. That's when you're like, should I really be doing this? And it's like, if you keep waiting for other people to give you that validation, you're never going to get to the point that you're wanting to get to. Yeah, so that's my biggest advice.
I love that. You said that so perfect.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because rejection is redirection.
Exactly.
And especially in this industry, we get no's every day. And we may not hear it like in front of our face, but
you'll hear the silence.
Right, exactly. And so you just have to keep it moving.
Yes. Yeah. You do.
If you weren't modeling, what do you think you would be doing?
I think if I wasn't modeling, I would still be doing something in the fashion realm. I don't know exactly what, but I don't know. Something in this world, because I think that it's a fascinating one. Whether it be show production or just like working at an agency, being an agent, or some sort of just like help for models. I feel like there's a lack of. I used to say that if I didn't kind of make it here, that I would go into helping, people that are trying to get into the modeling industry in a mental and a physical way. So that would be things that are like nutrition, things that are like not like therapy, but like coaching a little bit. I think I would take an avenue related to So I guess not specifically modeling, but very related.
Very close to it.
Still in that world for sure.
Oh, well, apart from the modeling, you also instruct models, correct?
Yes, I do. That stemmed from my own personal experience of needing help and learning in the modeling industry.
How did you find that part to being able to instruct models? How did you find that door?
When I first started modeling, like I told you, I was really young. So I didn't know the concept of signing with an agency does not mean guidance or schooling. It just means we are your agency and we are going to help get you work. So they did exactly that. They signed me and they started getting me work. I started booking jobs immediately. And I noticed that I would go to these jobs, these shoots, or these runway shows. First of all, the runway shows, I was walking like terrible, absolutely terrible. I would look back on the videos and I'd be like, this is really embarrassing. Like, I don't feel comfortable. Or I'd be in front of the camera and I'd just be like, I feel so uncomfortable right now. And I don't want to feel that way. If this is what I want to do, I don't want to feel that way. And so I was like, I need to find some sort of something to help me break out of that shell. I was also kind of shy. I probably wouldn't be able to do something like this back then. Like the talking part would just get me. But I found Bella, I think literally over a Google search. But Bella wasn't what it is today. Like it wasn't a whole school like situation. It was like a suite essentially. And I think they only had like 3 people working there maybe. But I went to Bella literally with my mom as she was taking me to all these things. Bless her. She took me in there and she's like, we need help. Like, I don't know what or how you do this, but she just needs help, like her runway walk and like some posing. Like she wants to be more comfortable posing. And they were like, okay, that's something we could definitely do. So I spent a couple months there just like walking, doing some poses. Until finally I was like, you know what, I feel a lot better about this. And then after that, I would start doing the jobs and I'd be like, okay, now I know what I'm doing a little bit more. I was also always the youngest when I would work because I had an older look. So they'd be like, well, you can't be a junior anymore because you don't look like one. So I was like 14 years old, 15 years old, and everybody else was like 23, 27, 25. So I was like, well, if this is my work, I need to be able to keep up with them. And Bella really helped me do that. Like I even told them, I was like, please do not be easy on me. And I remember my mom telling my instructor, she was like, don't be easy on her. Like she needs this. So she listened to her wishes and she really, really taught me what I needed to know. And from there, I was just like, I feel like I could do that for other people.
Oh, okay. So I didn't actually know you attended Bella Modeling School.
Yes,
but
I
you did it when it was just starting up.
Exactly. Before it was what it is today. But yeah, several years passed, and then I saw it. Where did I see it? I think it was like an Instagram ad that said that they were hiring because I had already followed them on Instagram. And I was like, why not? Literally, why not? And I went to the McKinney location. I got interviewed there. And then they were like, okay, like, I think this would be like a good fit. Like, if you would want to do it. And I was like, I would like to do this. And then I started doing it and I couldn't get enough. I was like, this just feels right. It feels right. And I really loved being able to help other people in the same way that they were able to help me.
So this comes around like full circle. So you still get to like, you know, model, do all your shoots, and be able to instruct others to model too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like a win-win if you ask me.
I think it's pretty cool, especially when I get to see students that I've had, like, I saw them on day one. They didn't even want to tell me what their name was. And then it's like, now you're signed with an agency, you're somewhere in LA working, and you were one of my students. That's insane to me. And I'm just like, you don't even have to say you went to Bella if you don't want to, but we are so proud of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys, I actually know, like, we kind of know each other. Sophia, we've had a few we've actually met at the Bellamani school, like, you know, graduation, I think.
It brings people together.
Yeah. So we actually have known each other. So we've seen each other over the past, 2-3 years maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this isn't our first encounter.
Exactly.
But, okay, so we're going to do a little this or that modeling edition.
Okay.
So high fashion or commercial?
High fashion.
High fashion. Posing or walking the runway?
Walking the runway.
Studio shoot or outdoor?
Studio.
And minimal makeup or full glam?
I'm only saying full glam because I'm not capable of doing it myself. So when other people can do it for me, I'm like, oh, this is so fun.
I know. It's like, who am I?
Literally. I'm like, oh, you did that? Thanks.
I know. I feel the same way when I get, like, my makeup done. And because I can't do that either.
I can.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I almost want to make plans to wear this somewhere so that I don't have to take it off.
It's like, can I go to sleep with my full glam?
Yeah, I wish I could just wake up the same. I would definitely mess it up. Definitely.
Do you ever feel like you look different with your full glam?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like a different persona.
Yeah.
But it helps a little bit because then I feel like I can channel whatever else that
Right.
I'm trying to, I'm taking Sofia out and putting somebody else
It's
in the
accurate.
mix temporarily. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you, Sophia, for coming on and sharing your journey. I really do appreciate it,
Thank you for
guys.
having me.
Tell them where you can find your Instagram.
My ads. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I've always wanted to do this. Okay. You guys can find me at Sofia with an F. Make sure it's with an F. Sofia with an F, period, Colmenero on Instagram.
And I will also have your Instagram handle down below. So thank you so much.
You.
YouTube fam, you can find On the Come Up podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.